In the ancient scriptures, there's this really mysterious and powerful vision. It's about a river, and it's absolutely captivated people for thousands of years. So in this explainer, we're going to wade right into this prophecy from Ezekiel and try to figure out what does it mean for us right here, right now.
Let's read the verses from Ezekiel 47, verses 1 through 2, 8 through 9, and 12. The wonderful stream. Then he brought me back to the entrance of the temple, and there I saw water flowing out from under the threshold of the temple toward the east, for the front of the temple faced east. The water flowed out toward the right side of the temple to the south of the altar. He brought me by way of the north gate and around the outside to the outer gate facing east. There I saw water trickling from the southern side. He said to me, "This water flows out into the eastern district, runs down into the Araba, and empties into the polluted waters of the sea to freshen them. Wherever it flows, the river teems with every kind of living creature. Fish will abound. Where these waters flow, they refresh. Everything lives where the river goes. Along each bank of the river, every kind of fruit tree will grow. Their leaves will not wither, nor will their fruit fail. Every month they will bear fresh fruit, because the waters of the river flow out from the sanctuary. Their fruit is used for food, and their leaves for healing."
Okay, so I want you to just picture this for a second. Imagine a tiny stream of water, really just a trickle, starting to flow from the holiest of holy places, the very threshold of God's temple. But here's the thing. This is no ordinary stream. As it flows, it just gets deeper and deeper. First, it's ankle deep, then knee deep, then up to your waist, until boom, it's this massive, uncrossable river. And the craziest part, there are no other streams feeding into it. It's like its growth is just coming from nowhere. And get this, its destination, the Dead Sea, a body of water so salty, so toxic, that literally nothing can survive in it. But when this impossible river flows in, the sea is completely healed. All of a sudden, it's just teeming with life. It's an incredible image. So there you have it. That's the core of Ezekiel's vision, this supernatural river of life. And it leaves us with a question people have been asking for centuries. What are we supposed to make of this? Is this describing a literal event in the future, or is it a powerful symbol for our own lives today? All right, let's dive into the details of this impossible river. The prophet Ezekiel has this vision while he's in exile, and what he sees is water flowing east, right from the temple in Jerusalem, which is, the very place where God's glory is said to dwell. So right away, we know this isn't just any water. Its source is divine. So what's really fascinating here is this supernatural growth. An angelic guide is with Ezekiel, and he measures the river's depth every 1,000 cubits. That's about every third of a mile. And in that short distance, it goes from a shallow little stream to a powerful torrent that nobody can cross. This crazy unnatural growth is a powerful picture, right? It shows how a divine influence can start small and just explode into something overwhelmingly powerful. Okay, so a description this miraculous, well, it's led to a major fork in the road when it comes to how people interpret it. How are we supposed to understand this prophecy? And believe me, this isn't a new debate. People have been talking about this for millennia. So you basically have two main ways of looking at this. On one side, you have a very literal interpretation. Some people, like the early Latter-day Saint prophet Joseph Smith, believe this describes a real future event where the actual Dead Sea is going to be healed. But on the other hand, most Christian traditions see this as a powerful spiritual metaphor. They believe the vision is using the language of prophecy to point to a much deeper spiritual reality. Okay, so let's follow that symbolic path for a moment, because if we do, we see that Ezekiel's vision is just the beginning. It actually lays the groundwork for one of the most powerful metaphors in the entire New Testament. And this is where it all clicks together. Jesus stands up and makes this incredible promise. Whoever believes in me, streams of living water will flow from within him. And just so there's no confusion, the writer of the gospel, John, immediately explains that by this he meant the Spirit. All of a sudden, Ezekiel's river flowing from the temple becomes this amazing picture of the Holy Spirit flowing from inside every single believer. So when we talk about living water, we're not just talking about, a spiritual pick-me-up. It's a symbol for the very life of God, His grace, His Spirit, that's meant to flow through us to heal, to renew, and to bring this supernatural fruitfulness to a world that's often dry and barren. And this is where the vision gets really personal, right? It asks us a question. If this river of God's Spirit is available to us, then maybe those different depths that Ezekiel measured, maybe they represent different levels of our own spiritual journey. You can think of it like this. Are you just standing on the bank, never really engaging? Or are you ankle deep with maybe a superficial connection? Maybe you're knee deep, starting to help others. Or waist deep, where you can really feel the flow and the power of the Spirit. The final step, of course, is being completely swept away, fully yielded to God's direction. It's a powerful way to think about it. Are we content to just dip our toes in and stay in control? Or are we willing to go deeper, to a place where we're carried by a current that's way bigger than we are? All right, let's talk about the first major effect of this river. Remember where it's going? It flows directly into the Dead Sea, pretty much the most lifeless place on Earth. And it performs an absolute miracle. And just to put this into perspective for you, the Dead Sea has a salinity of around 35%. That's nearly 10 times saltier than the ocean. It is quite literally a dead body of water. Nothing lives there. And yet the prophecy is just absolute. Where the river flows, everything will live. The divine water flows in and it completely freshens the sea. What a profound symbol for the power of God's grace, right? It suggests that no person, no situation, and no part of our own hearts is too dead or too toxic to be brought back to a vibrant, flourishing life. And here's a really key moral teaching to grab onto. Grace heals before it gives life. Think about that. This living water doesn't just paper over our wounds or our problems. It's meant to flow deep into our past, our minds, all our brokenness, and actually heal them first. That's what prepares us to truly live. But the healing of the sea, that's just the beginning. The second major effect of this river is what it produces. And not just in the water, but on the banks beside it. So the vision describes these absolutely miraculous trees. Their leaves never wither, they bear new fruit every single month, they provide food, and their leaves provide medicine. It's incredible. And the reason they can do this? Their water source isn't the rain or the soil, it's that life-giving water flowing directly from the sanctuary of God. So the application for our lives is pretty clear and it's profound. If we are plugged in to this river of grace, we ourselves become like those trees. Our fruit, our actions can become a source of nourishment and life for the people around us. And our leaves, our words, our presence, they can actually be like medicine, bringing comfort and healing to a brokenhearted world. And that brings us full circle. We started with this river of life flowing from a divine source, and we see how it's meant to flow through us and then out into the world. So Ezekiel's vision, it's really not just some ancient, dusty prophecy. It's an invitation. It's a challenge, really. It asks us to look at our own lives and ask a really important question. If this river flows from you, where is it bringing life?